What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Madison if you're new here, and today I'm talking about my 20 top things to watch on Netflix right now. This is all pretty current stuff. Most of this is from 2020. I do have a few recommendations from last year and even the previous year, like one from 2018. Just things that I think got really overlooked that hopefully you guys haven't seen. So I'm really excited about today's video. If you're here more for the lifestyle beauty content that I normally do and Netflix and streaming isn't your thing, feel free to peace out of this video and I will get back to my normal content soon. I just thought this would be a great video to do since a lot of us are social distancing or at home. So that's why I wanted to share this. If you love this kind of content, be sure to follow me over at Instagram at MadisonReedPayn, because on Instagram stories I do share in more real time the things that I'm watching. I'm actually a huge homebody and TV person, so I share a lot more TV and movie recommendations over there besides just this 20 list that I'm getting into right now. So I will be breaking this down TV and movies together, but I'm gonna break it down by genre. I also only have like one thing on here that I think pretty much only girls would like, but I will specify what that is. So if you're a guy watching this, I do have plenty of recommendations for you as well. Oh, and at the end of this video, I will also list off some Netflix picks that are just so terrible, time in my life that I'll never get back. So make sure you stay tuned until the end of the video. And with that being said, I'm going to get started with sci-fi and fantasy. Oh, also this is not ranked by number one is my number one pick. It's all thrown in here together by genre though, like I said. So starting out, number one, V-Wars. So this show I feel like was really underrated. I even looked, Rotten Tomatoes only gave it like a 6 out of 10 or something. And I thought this was a fantastic show. If you like anything vampire related, virus spreading related, you're gonna really be into this show. Also, it does star Ian Somlander. I think that's how you say his name. I'm gonna butcher so many actors' name in this, so I apologize in advance. But he played Damon Salvatore on Vampire Diaries, which was a show that I loved. Vampire Diaries is really girly show. If you're not a female, you probably won't be into Vampire Diaries. I'm just gonna throw that out there. V-Wars is not as girly. I think male or female would be into this show, but if you liked Vampire Diaries, you would definitely love this show. And it's basically that this ancient virus has melted because of climate change, and it doesn't get too preachy into climate change, so something like that, but it's melted, and so this virus is now being released on the general public, creating vampires on the show. They call them Bloods, and there's only one season of it on Netflix, 10 episodes. Each episode is between like 40 minutes to an hour, so I binged it in 48 hours. I thought it was so good. If you're a fan of Vampire Diaries, definitely check it out. Okay, and number two is In the Shadow of the Moon. This is a movie on Netflix. It's a Netflix original. I had never heard of it until my brother watched it and he could not stop talking about it. I'm putting it under the sci-fi and fantasy category because it definitely falls into that category, but it's also heavy on the thriller side. It's a thinking movie, but it's a thinking movie that moves fast. You guys know some thinking movies, I'm like, I'm going to actually fall asleep. It follows the life of a detective who runs across this serial killer and these murders that happen, and the method doesn't make sense, the timeline doesn't make sense, and it's just twists and turns that you don't see coming. It is a fantastic movie. It's maybe not the best Netflix original movie I've ever seen, but it would probably be up there on top 3. I highly recommend it if those types of movies are your jam. And number 3 is Altered Carbon. This show just released season 2, so that's the reason why I'm mentioning it on my newer list. I want to say the first season came out in 2018, I think, and it's a really interesting concept where humans are able to upload themselves to a new body so they can live longer, or they can be resurrected, which is what happens with the main character. So also what's interesting about this show is that the first season and the second season, same character but different actors, because again, you can upload yourself to different humans. So the first season is Joel Kinnaman, who I might be saying his last name wrong probably, but I loved him on The Killing. The Killing used to be on Netflix, one of my favorite shows ever. 4 seasons, 2 detectives and these different murders that happen in Seattle. I want to say all the seasons are in Seattle, but I could be wrong. It's been a while since I watched it. Which, fun fact, Joel's character on the show says the word moms a lot. I'll be like, yo, you need to be nicer to your moms. So my mom's name in my phone actually is Moms, and that's what I call her. I tell her all the time if I come back from the other side, she's gonna know it's me because I'm gonna be like, yo, moms. And that's from the show The Killing. Okay, back to Altered Carbon. So Joel Kinnaman is the guy in the first season, and he is resurrected in this new new body to come back to solve a murder. It's a really great show. It's an interesting concept. You do have to really pay attention to that show. It's not light watching. Before I watch season 2, I'm gonna definitely go back and watch the first season because so much stuff happened. But second season, the main character is played by Anthony Mackie, who, and where my Marvel fans at? He does play the Falcon in the Avengers movies. I'm a big fan of his, and I know I'm gonna love him in Altered Carbon. Like I said, I haven't seen the second season yet. My brother watched it though, and he beats me to literally everything. And he told me it's just as good as the first season, so that's definitely gonna be on my list of stuff to check out. Okay, number 4, you guys, is The Witcher. Let's all take a moment of silence for Henry Cavill. I love him, so I would watch anything that he was in, but I was so excited about this show. If you follow me on Instagram, I was posting about it like as soon as they released that they were gonna make it, and then they casted him, and then the Netflix release date. I've been keeping up with this show very closely. I watched the whole thing the weekend that it came out, and I was actually traveling and watched it on an airplane. There's a few inappropriate things in the show, so I really don't recommend watching it on an airplane, but it's a fantastic show. A lot of people are comparing it to Game of Thrones. If you liked Game of Thrones, I think you will definitely love this show. Follow Geralt, who is a witcher, and he basically acts like a muscle for hire, going around and defeating these beasts and monsters. There's a lot to it. It's actually based off of a book series, which was then turned into a video game. Witcher, they're making a movie for it, and then they're also gonna have another season. So a lot of Witcher content that will continue to be coming to Netflix, not going anywhere. So I highly recommend checking it out if you are super into the fantasy genre. Okay, number 5 is The Umbrella Academy. I realize the show is not going to be for everyone. I loved this show, but like I have already mentioned, I'm a huge sci-fi fan. I'm a really big superhero fan. I go in for Marvel, Justice League, all of that, and it's a really interesting premise of a superhero family, and they're coming together. They've been separated for a while, and they're coming together to try to solve their father's murder. It's very quirky and very different. The closest thing I could compare it to is Riverdale, not in the storyline of Riverdale, but if you like the style that Riverdale is filmed, then you'll probably like The Umbrella Academy. It's only 1 season, and I want to say it's 10 episodes. I'm not sure when season 2 will be released, but season 2 is coming. Okay, number 6 is Kingdom. This is a show that I actually haven't watched. I've never heard of it before recently because they did just drop season 2. But the premise is that it's a period drama piece, and it's 15th century Korea, and there's an outbreak of zombies, which I love. Any zombie show, any movie, so that's why I'm shocked I haven't ever heard of this before. The seasons are pretty short. Like I said, season 2 just dropped. There are only 6 episodes per season, so this is gonna be on my list probably within the weekend to watch. It looks great. Whenever I was doing research for this video online, I did not see one bad review. Everyone really liked this show, so if that is your jam, period dramas, zombies, I haven't seen it yet, so I can't put like a full stamp of approval on it, but I feel like most likely you would like it. Okay, number 7 is Lock and Key. This just dropped on Netflix in February. I believe it's also 10 episodes, 1 season. I haven't seen the show yet, but again, this is high on my list of things to watch. It is based off of a comic book. It's being compared in that way to The Walking Dead. Whenever I saw the trailer for it, it was kind of giving me like dark Harry Potter, dark Lion Witch in the Wardrobe kind of vibes, and it's about the Locke children who have returned to their father's family home to try to solve their dad's murder. Where I was doing research on the show, they did categorize it as a supernatural horror drama, so although this might appear to be kid-friendly, I really don't think it is. I think I'm gonna really like it, so that's on my list of things to watch immediately. Okay, number 8, The Rim of the World. Y'all, I don't know why, this is another Netflix original, this is a movie, and I don't know why no one talked about this movie. I did see that on Netflix when this came out back in May of last year. In the UK, it was the #1 movie, but I feel like no one talked about it in the US. I could be wrong, but I've asked people if they've seen it, and everyone's like, well, literally, what are you talking about? It follows these preteen teenagers, and their parents send them off to the Rim of the World summer camp. It's the name of the camp, and basically the end of the world happens, and it's them going on an adventure. They end up being needed to help save the world. And although when I first saw the preview, this to me looked like a very kid-friendly movie. There was a lot of adult humor in it, so I don't have children, but I would maybe watch it first before watching it with your kids. Maybe like a teenager would be fine, but I don't know. I would use your own discretion on that because there was, like I said, adult humor, but it was so funny. There were several times in the movie where I was belly laughing. I thought it was a great movie. If you like Stranger Things, I think you would really enjoy this movie as well. Okay, moving on to comedy, number 9. I'm not going to say its name. I'm just going to flash the poster on here because I realize it's not the curse word, but I don't want YouTube to flag my video. Putting this one on the list because there are 5 seasons currently on Netflix. I believe season 6 is airing on television right now. If you've never heard of this show, it follows a really wealthy family going broke, and it's hilarious. I haven't seen all of the seasons. It is on my list of things to watch, but I have seen a few here and there, and actually started watching it because a few people compared me to Alexa. She uses her hands to talk all the time, and I know I do that, you guys. I need to start sitting on them. But it's really funny. It's stupid comedy, so if the stupid comedy isn't your jam, you might not like it. Also, I do think it takes a few episodes to warm up to it, so I would give it a chance past that. Okay, number 10 is Murder Mystery. Chances are you've probably seen this movie, but it was the number 1 streamed anything on Netflix for 2019, so I wanted to include it on here. It follows a married couple, Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler, and they go on this European vacation, and they stumble into a murder mystery, and it's so funny. It has Luke, oh my gosh, I forget what his name is. He was guest on in Beauty and the Beast, is in it. There's a lot of famous people in it. They do an incredible job. It was funny and had action. I think across the board everyone would like this movie, so if you haven't watched it yet, definitely check it out. On to action, number 11 is Spencer Confidential. This is a Netflix original movie, and it is so good. It got Marky Mark in it, Mark Wahlberg. Post Malone makes his acting debut. If you guys don't know this about me, I am obsessed with Post Malone. I went as him for Halloween this past year, and I did a whole video transforming myself into him. If you want a good laugh, check out that video. But I'm obsessed with Post Malone, so he made an acting debut in it. I forget the actor's name, but he was one of the main characters in Black Panther, is Mark Wahlberg's little sidekick in it. And also my girl Liza is in it, who she is hysterical. If you also want a good laugh, definitely check out her stand-up. She is so funny. So I knew I was gonna like this movie. But the premise of it is this disgraced police officer being released from jail, and it takes place in Boston. And it's him kind of uncovering all these conspiracies and stuff going on within the police station that he used to work at. I thought it was really great drama. It has a lot of action in it, but it was also there were several really funny lines in it. So that gets a 10 out of 10 Mads rating. Go watch it. Okay, moving on to drama, number 12 is Good Girls. This is a recommendation. This is like one of my only recommendations that I really recommend solely to women. I'm not sure how much guys would be into this show, but it's 3 moms who just are fed up. They are over it, they are broke, they have been let down, and they decide to like basically go on these crime sprees, and it's a lot of drama, and there's also a lot of humor in it too. So it's one of the best shows I've ever seen, one of my favorite shows of all time. There are 2 seasons of it on Netflix, and season 3 is currently airing right now. I did look it up, and Netflix is supposed to get season 3 sometime this summer. It does star Christina Hendricks, who was in Mad Men, if you guys liked that show. And then also, I think her name is Rita from Girlfriend's Guide to Divorce, which is another fantastic show. I actually wasn't planning on mentioning that in this video, so I'm not sure if that one's on Netflix. Another girl recommendation, but that was a fantastic show. Okay, also in the drama category, number 13 is Last Thing He Wanted. This was just released in February of 2020. I haven't seen it, but the premise is a journalist stops coverage of the 1984 US presidential election to care for her dying father. In the process, she inherits his positions as an arms dealer for Central America. So Rotten Tomatoes gave this a 6%, you guys, and IMDb gave this a 4 out of 10. So I'm not expecting it to be very good, but I really love Ben Affleck and I love Anne Hathaway, so I'm gonna definitely watch it and check it out. If I watch it before publishing this video, I will put my thoughts below in the description. So number 14 is Ozark, and I'm mentioning this one because season 3 drops March 27th. This is a great show. Jason Bateman, Laura Linney, fantastic cast, really awesome acting. So the premise is this financial advisor gets into some bad business dealings with some drug dealers and is relocated from Chicago to the Missouri Ozarks, hence the name Ozarks, with his family so he can launder this large amount of money for them. And it's just this crime drama that unravels. It is a darker TV show. It's excellent. I personally liked season 1 more than I liked season 2, but I have high hopes for season 3. So not out yet. If you haven't seen it, you do have some time to catch up before season 3 comes out, March 27th. Okay, number 15, Peaky Blinders. I'm including this. I realize it's not brand new. We got season 5 last year, but I'm putting it on my list because it's also one of my favorite shows of all time. So this is not typically a show that I would have watched. I was trying to download a different show for a flight. Also not a show I'd recommend watching on a plane. a little awkward. But I downloaded it on a flight, the wrong show, and it was the only show that I had, so I ended up watching it out of sheer boredom and fell in love with it. It's a British period drama that follows the Shelby family, and they have this gang that they run. It's very mobster, dark, it's amazing. It's pretty graphic language, sexual content, like all the things. So again, I don't recommend watching this on a plane, but it's so good. And for me, I don't mind those things in a TV show if I feel like they add to the storyline. It's when stuff is unnecessary. I'm like, you're just showing that just to show it or just to be controversial or whatever it is. This, because it's a show about gangs and mobs, it moves the storyline along, and so I think it's a fantastic show. It stars Cillian Murphy, and he is just an incredible actor. There are 5 seasons and 30 episodes, so there's a lot to binge. So moving on to the thriller category, number 16 is The Stranger, and I just finished this show last night. It is so good. I binged it in a day. It came out in January 2020, I believe, and it is based off of a really popular book. It does take place in England, so it's very British. I don't know, I thought it was going to be more about a family and less about this bigger web that it ended up being. It was so good. The Stranger basically reveals these secrets to people, and it's all connected, and it's just a fantastic show. It was suspenseful, kept me on the edge of my seat. I had to know what happened next. So it is one of those shows that if you're gonna start it, you need to like be prepared to get engulfed in it. And even the further you go along in the show, it gets better and better, and it's twists and turns that I personally didn't see coming, and I love that in a show. I don't want to know what's going to happen, you know, first episode, what's going to happen in the last one. So highly recommend it if you like thrillers, if you like crime dramas, check this show out. Okay, moving on to rom-coms, number 17 is To All the Boys, P.S. I Still Love You. Unless you've been living under a rock, you probably have seen or heard about To All the Boys I Loved Before. Super cute. Stars Lana Condor, John Cobert, with Sex and the City fans know him as Aiden, which was enough to make me want to watch it, and Noah Centano. I'm literally so bad at pronouncing actors' names. If you haven't seen it, the premise of that is the main girl is in high school, and she has these love letters that are wreaking havoc on her life. So I don't want to spoil the first one in case you haven't seen it, but the second one follows her journey and continues it. This one did come out in February of 2020, so it's brand new. I thought the first one was better, but the second one is still definitely worth watching. And if you're a fan of the first one, you're gonna like the second one. So definitely check it out. It's lighthearted, feel good, cute. You can't go wrong. Okay, and number 18 is Set It Up. This is a really great movie. It is rom-com, done perfectly well. Rotten Tomatoes even gave it a 92%. It does star Zoe Dusich, Lucy Liu, Ty Diggs, and it follows 2 overworked and underpaid assistants that are trying to set up their boss so their own life's a little easier. If their bosses are distracted with a romantic relationship, they won't have to work all the time. It's really cute, and I highly recommend it. Okay, on to reality shows. Number 19 is Love is Blind. Again, if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably heard me talking about this show nonstop. It sounds so stupid. If you haven't seen it yet, even hearing me talk about it, you're gonna be like, that's so dumb. But it's a fantastic show. Basically, these strangers are dating each other in pods, so they can't see each other, they can only hear each other, and they get to know each other on this deeper level, and it's all part of a social experiment to find out, is love blind? And some of them even get engaged in the pod without seeing each other, and then you see them move in together, and then the last set of episodes is seeing if they get married. So it is just so good. They also have a reunion episode where you can catch up with the people, because this was actually recorded 2 years ago. So that's another thing, is I don't recommend looking these people up on social media if you don't want any spoilers, because all of them posted spoilers the day that the wedding episode came out, and I hadn't even seen it yet, and I'm like, oh, I can tell who's still together. So don't look them up on social media if you don't want to know who gets married, who doesn't get married, but it's a fantastic show. I'm not even gonna say a complaint, but it's hosted by Nick and Vanessa Lachey, and I don't know, it was just a little weird. They're not in a huge part of the show, but every time that Nick Lachey introduced himself, he would say, and I'm obviously Nick Lachey. I'm like, I don't know. It was just every time I watched with my mom, we were like, what is he doing? But it's a fantastic show, 10 out of 10. If you like The Bachelor, if you liked Love Island, any of that, go watch the show immediately. And moving on to documentaries, number 20 is Don't F with Cats. This came out back in December of 2019, and I remember hearing so much buzz about it, but I didn't want to watch it because I really thought that it would be more graphic, and so I didn't want to watch it. And my mom actually watched it before I did, and she was like, no, it's so good, and it was amazing. So if you've never heard of it, it's 3 episodes, all of them are about an hour long, and it's this online manhunt of this guy who has messed with cats. Yes, it is about disturbing content, but I do feel like the show did a really great job of, I guess, getting across the severity of what this person had done without making it completely graphic. So if that's what's holding you back from watching it, I do think you should give it a go. But yeah, I mean, it is a guy who does hurt animals, and then the rest of his story unfolding, and it's just absolutely mind-blowing. I think that this was more of a story that happened in Canada, so I had never heard of any of this, and I'm shocked that I had never heard of it because it's just such a crazy story, and it follows these people that basically figured out all of this stuff using online resources. And I think of myself as somebody who could work for the FBI. Like, I can creep like the best of them, and these people put me to absolute shame. The whole thing is just super interesting. If you're into true crime, documentaries, any of that is your jam, I think you will love it. Super addicting. I had to watch the whole thing in one sitting because I just could not unpeel myself from the show. Okay, so moving on to the things I've watched recently that I don't recommend. Island was a waste of my life and time. It sounded to me like a really cool concept. None of it made sense. You didn't get any answers. It's terrible. Don't watch it. Some people really loved this movie. This was a Netflix original starring Ryan Reynolds, and it was almost one of the best movies I've ever seen. I actually found out recently that one of the writers was one of the writers on Deadpool, and that makes total sense to me. When I was watching it, I was even like, why is Ryan Reynolds trying to be Deadpool in this movie? So that makes a lot more sense. It was just really unnecessarily graphic. Like I said, Peaky Blinders, graphic, but I don't mind it because it moves the storyline along. This was just gross and unnecessary, which is a shame because I think it was like almost a really awesome movie. I wouldn't be surprised though if they don't make more of them. It does seem like they're trying to set it up to be Netflix version of the Fast and Furious franchise. So we probably haven't seen the last of it, but it's a 2 thumbs down for me. Okay, and my last movie to not watch is The Laundromat. Do not be fooled by the all-star cast. I love all the actors in this, but it was so terrible. One of the worst movies I've ever seen. It is just time in my life that I will never get back. Don't even watch it. Okay, I realized this last little tidbit is not about Netflix, but it was breaking news yesterday that Frozen 2 is being released 3 months early on Disney+, so it's being released tomorrow, Sunday the 15th. If you guys are interested, if you're Disney fans, look out for that. That was huge news. Frozen 2 is coming. All right, y'all, that's it. If you want to see this type of video for other streaming services, HBO, Hulu, Amazon, I can even do a combo video. Let me know below in the comments, and I'm happy to do that. Also, this video, I really wanted to focus on newer things, maybe that you haven't seen yet. But if you guys want my all-star list, including older TV shows and older movies of things to binge, I'm happy to make that video too as well. So just let me know below in the comments. Be sure to follow me on Instagram over at MadisonReedPayn. Subscribe if you just can't get enough of me. Give this video a thumbs up. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on my next video.